the ways that would help you sell more is giving value, especially when not a lot of people are giving value when it comes to product-based businesses. Where I see people lack is they fail to appear as an expert. People buy from people that they're getting value from. I recently bought underwear from a up-and-coming company that has been pretty much growing really well. Here's the thing though, here's the kicker, is that when I got these underwears, they're actually very different than what you're used to. The material was different, the way their style of underwear was, I wasn't quite used to it, so I definitely was leaning more to just returning them or exchanging them because they had a very generous return policy where, you know, you could wash them, wear them, and then you could return them and you're good to go. Thank you, ma'am. But here what was different. As I was going through the chat box, I noticed they had an option where you could schedule a call with an expert. And I was like, oh, so what is this? And basically they give the option where you can chat with an expert in the company and they can answer your questions, educate you on their product. And basically it's a free-for-all. You can go on the call and they'll demonstrate, help you with sizing, whatever it may be. And so I booked a call. I ended up leaving that call feeling very confident and fulfilled. Meaning that I ended the call where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna actually try the underwear. Because I got her feedback, I was able to answer questions, and I thought it was brilliant because when they did those calls, they basically saved the sale by just doing those calls. And this is what I tell all my clients to have, is offer some type of value. Not because some other online product store is not doing this doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. Because you'll stand out. I could tell you that company stand out and they're gonna probably keep my money. Your goal here is to be authoritative. You want to build trust. You're not just a product-based owner. You want to be the person that has that answer to your ideal customer's issues as it relates to what you're selling. You are the problem solver to their life. You are the cherry to their apple. And I'm pretty sure that's not how the saying goes, but you get the point. Being able to be in the right place at the right time and being able to provide details that your current or potential customer needs, it's so powerful. The reason why people don't buy is because there's usually a form of objection. So there's something in their mind that's telling them, hey, like, you might not get that, or hey, like, you might lack something here. So then they don't end up buying because they have that underlying voice, that underlying objection that's in the way of them purchasing the item guilt-free. But imagine this. Imagine if you're there to overcome their objections, answer their questions in your content, people will start to listen because you're forming a connection, you're positioning yourself as an expert, you're positioning yourself as the answer that they need. And you're positioning it in a way where they should not, in fact, live without your product. When you're running an online business, your main priority is offering the support that your potential or current customer needs, obviously in related to your product. You're not a therapist apart from that, but you're there to really listen. You're there to solve any like problems that they may have as related to what your boundaries are. I just want to point that out. The main thing is you should not be afraid of connection. So when it came to my Amazon business, there was times where I would just jump on the phone and I would tell you that the customers would get a shock of their life. They didn't realize that there's real sellers on Amazon. I ended up solving the problem quicker because of that. You see, too many people are so focused on hiding behind the keyboard that they forget that, you know, like just talking to someone could try them. So obviously I didn't do this with every single customer, but there are some key customers that needed it. And I could tell you that that really saved sales and made people have a better customer experience. It could save and do a lot of things for your business. It could save a negative review and turn it into a positive because you took that small time to connect. And you see a lot of people are afraid to go on the phone. right? A lot of people are afraid to make that connection. Just keep in mind, this is just an example. You don't have to necessarily jump on a phone, but really taking the time to give really good customer service can really change a game because it makes you appear as an expert. It shows you as someone that cares. For example, that underwear company that I bought from, the fact that they actually had times where you can meet up with a real person was like blew me away, because not a lot of companies are doing that. And another thing to remember that gives you the advantage like of the things that I'm sharing to you is that there has been a lot of businesses where they ghost the customer, they don't respond to the emails, they take forever, they don't ever solve the issue. And guess what happens? It leaves the customer feeling frustrated, but hurt, because they didn't get their issue solved. So then therefore, then there's a kind of like a wall built up, because then they're like, okay, well, the next time I'm gonna be more careful of the next business, which makes them slower to buy from other businesses because now they wanna make sure. And so that's why the process sometimes takes longer for people to buy, because they're like, okay, well, I had this bad experience and I'm not sure if I wanna try that product again somewhere else. So if you can show that you care and that you can show that they're not gonna get a headache, that if you contact them to return they'll be able to return with ease. There's not gonna be any issue, they're not gonna be wasting any money. Most likely, people are gonna trust you more. They're gonna see that you're real and you're not just out there to snatch their money and not respond to any of their inquiries. People rely on you to give them ideas on how to use your product. Don't assume that they know how, right? Don't be afraid to show demonstrations, give them a real experience through the lens or through photos of how the product looks when you're feeling it, touching it, whatever it may be. I can't tell you how many times, for example, I'll be buying a hair product and you're wondering, okay, how the heck does this product look? Like, what type of consistency is a product? Like, and you can't find anything, and then you have to go from where the profile is to search some other person to see how the product is and all that good stuff. Nothing's wrong with that, but that's usually the process, right? Because you're like, well, I want to get an idea of how to use a product. I want to get an idea of how it feels before I buy it. So I make sure, for example, that it's not too light for my hair. And that brings me to my next point is, you ever notice that when you want to review a product, you go on YouTube because you want to see how other people experience it. And I believe YouTube is a good tactic for even a business to go on. But I want to make this point is that it's like, what if you actually took the time to do those type of demonstrations on your own platform so people don't even have to leave it and you're hearing your opinion. They're not getting an outside opinion. Because keep in mind, though reviews are awesome, YouTube is awesome to get reviews to see how the product is, they're sharing the product and they may not be using the product right? For example, they may not be using the product to the best of its ability of how it's supposed to be used. No one knows the product like you do because you're the expert. So it goes back to that and not being afraid to give your clients ideas and show them like what's possible. If this has been helpful so far and you're ready to try some of the things, some of the tips I gave, like the video, text YouTube to the number in this screen, and you're gonna get a next level training on how to start your store, how to go to the next level. I know everyone in the sun likes to give a discount as their lead magnet to get someone's email, but hear me out here. And I want to be clear, I'm not saying anything's wrong with that method because this probably is very effective. But what if you tried offering some type of ebook or some type of training to show demonstrating how to use the product, or giving them multiple ideas to wear that item? So basically a very value-based ebook that gives them ideas and gives them complete information, so it makes them feel more confident to use, try, eat your product. And you give them a really strong CTA, which just means a strong call to action. And this would be led to a website, or giving them a discount to use on your website, or anywhere you want them to go for that matter. You're basically grabbing their attention, and then you're showing them what they can do with that item or how they can use the item, and you're inspiring them to do the exact thing you're showcasing, or giving them ideas and making them feel excited to grab your product. And you could even go as far as offering a consultation where you jump on a call and you're able to help them with choosing the products, helping them to match products. You're helping them to size the products if you want to. This is based on what you're comfortable with. And you'll probably sell even more products because now that removes the fear of, okay, what if I get the wrong sizing or any objections they have, and you make them feel at ease. And what's different about this is connection always triumphs, right? I can tell you that me as a person, I usually sometimes get overwhelmed and will get off, get distracted, all that good stuff. But what if you did everything on a call where you took the card and you processed the order? I'm not saying you could do this for everyone, but the idea is we're thinking big here, right? So you'd have a whole team ready to do this. You could even do trainings, yo. For example, if you did skincare, you could actually create a masterclass around how to have a proper routine, what products they should use. Of course, you're sprinkling in your products and you're showing them how to use it, what order they should be using it, and you're educating them on why they should use it and how it will benefit them in a masterclass. And people will usually show up, right? Because it's something that they need. And if it's solving a problem, people are gonna show up. You're educating, you're giving value, and you're building connection, and they're getting to know your brand as a whole. So you're doing 4 things here. And the best part about this is this will work in any industry. As long as you're thinking of it from the angle of an expert. What can people learn? What can people get value out of from what you share? What about your product would help someone, would change their life, will make their life easier? There is something. It doesn't have to be a service. There's something that your product offers that benefits them and makes their life way better. One of the things I see lacking is I always said that it'd be nice to see a boutique offering some type of styling services, especially with people like me that have no sense of style. I'm not good at coordinating clothes, right? So usually I have to go ask a friend, get a little bit of help, get a little bit of opinions. But what if like a boutique, a small boutique, offer these type of services? So when you go on the site, I can simply book an appointment and then you'll help me coordinate outfits. How I got this idea is because like when you go to a retail store, if the place is really good, you'll get a really good retail associate that will just help you with the wardrobe and be like, okay, try this, try this. They'll basically suggest things that you would have never thought of trying. In the meantime, they're getting to know you, you're building trust, and that's huge. We can keep on going on with this, right? Helping with specific type of body type. And the biggest thing that this would help with, it would help with objections. So any of the tips that you use in this video will help with objections. Any objections I had or reservations I had about how the clothing will look at me or how that soap would feel on my skin is gone because you're there to educate me and give me value and show me why that specific clothing piece would look good on me. More sales means that there's less objections. If you remove those objections and those reservations, oh, you're good. You'll be cruising. It's because other business owners in the product space is stuck in a certain way doesn't mean you can't appear as an expert. It doesn't mean that you can't find solutions and other ways. Always better ways. There's always a way that you can find a solution to something and have it explode. Focus on giving value. Don't just sell.